What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the YBO podcast, episode 9. This week we are continuing our mini-series in which we're just telling some stories. And this week I'm sitting down with Mr. Matthew Prater, and he shares with us the first time he ever got a deer. Now, needless to say, it's not just here's a fun deer story. It definitely has its twists. So stay tuned, and I hope you all enjoy. So, Matthew, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
I kind of alluded to some of my favorite stories in the previous podcast. So if you haven't listened to that, go check that out.
Stop what you're doing right now and go check out the first episode involving Matthew and his intro. He teaches you a lot about him.
But I think one of my favorite times as an outdoorsman, because it was so random, so not planned, and was the first for everybody involved, was when I shot my deer.
Oh, okay.
Now, my dad and I are very project-based type people. If we get something in mind, we like to go build something. So, like, we built a boat dock, for instance. We built a deer stand, for instance. Just kind of off the whim, yeah. Dad was like, I want to build a deer stand.
And I will be witness. This is very true. These two will just randomly say, we're going to build something. And then a couple months later, they're like, how do you like our new friggin' boat dock? And we're all like, what the hell? When did you guys make that?
Yeah, but, so we built a deer stand. And basically, this stand is, it took us a while to build, but it's on 2 stories of scaffolding. And then it was so heavy, it's probably like, I want to say it's like 8 by 6, 8 by 6 platform up there. And since it was so hard to lift up there, we had to actually build it in sections and make it basically mobile. So my dad and I built this deer stand, and we went and took it out to our place in Kingman. And it was deer season. I was hunting rifle. I had literally just gotten a 270, Savage Axis 270. Sighted it in. This was my first deer season ever. And I came home from school one day, and Dad just came home early from work and was like, hey, you want to go hunting? And I was like, sure, I guess. We'll sit in the stand for 30 minutes. Now, this is my freshman year of high school. And,
okay.
And so I was like, yeah, we're going to get out there and sunset is going to be in 30 minutes, but sure, why not?
Real quick, I did not know. I thought you got your first deer when you were younger. I didn't realize it was high school.
Yeah, freshman year of high school. That was it. So we go out there, and I kid you not, right as the sunset happened, I saw this deer. I'm just scanning there, and I just saw this deer, what I thought to be, not more than 200 yards away from me, just stand up, in this thicket. And I was like, oh, no way. So I, threw my rifle up there, cranked the scope to the highest power, and went down on it. And I was like, Dad, that's a buck. And he's like, what do you think? You think you can shoot it? And I was like, yeah, I can shoot it. I can shoot it. So I just took a random shot at it, first deer me, I wasn't sure what to do. I was just antsy, I'm sitting there shaking like a leaf because I'm about to shoot my first deer. And I just fire one shot and nothing happens. Deer just looks at us. And I'm just seeing, I'm just looking at it through my scope, and my dad's got the binos on it and stuff. And he tells me, he's like, man, I don't know. I think it may be too far. And I was like, no, I gotta shoot it. I gotta take another shot. So I shot another time, and the deer just dropped. I was like, I hit it. I just hit it. and Dad was like, "Oh my gosh!" And like neither one of us had ever been deer hunting before.
So
Ever. Like
this was just
yeah, never.
You guys were just like, let's see what happens.
Yeah. No, or I should say we've gone and sat in the deer stand before, but we had never shot in anything.
Yeah.
Okay, or never even seen anything or really anything. Which we were shooting buck. I mean, we were going to shoot a buck.
Yeah.
I was going to shoot a buck. So my dad, I mean, mind you, this is right at sunset. So right after it dropped, I kid you not, the deer stood up.
Oh my god.
The buck and like another 2 does stood up and just took off. I mean, they were gone. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, are you serious? So dad has no idea what to do. So he just calls up Scott. He calls up Scott, our other hunting buddy. He's like, Scott, Matthew just shot a deer. I mean, it's sunset here. Like, what do we do? The deer just took off. Like, what do we do? And Scott's like, well, start running. Like, see if you can go find the deer, because otherwise, I mean, he's like, most likely that thing's gone.
Yeah.
But like, I don't, you might be able to wait for a few minutes and then let it die. But like, at that point in time, it's dark, your best bet is to just try to find a blood trail maybe.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay. So we got Dad out of the deer stand, and Dad starts like a beeline towards where those deer went. And I was like, no, Dad, like we got to go to where I shot the deer, and then maybe we could find a blood trail, because otherwise, like, there's no way that we'll ever find a blood trail in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you're right. So we like head towards where I shot the deer, and I get like 30 yards in, and I'm like, Dad, there he is. He's laying there.
Oh my god, dude.
It was another buck and 2 does that were all
Jeez.
bedded down in the same area that literally got up and ran away, and my deer was laying there. Well, of
Wow.
course, I mean, my deer's not dead. It was not, shot super stellar
Yeah.
from. Come to find out, it was like a 300-yard shot. Like we looked at it later and we were like, yeah, that was like 300 yards.
Nice.
I mean, we didn't have a rangefinder or anything like that. It was just far away. But, I mean, we go up there, and I had to put like 2 more bullets in it.
Oh my god. Did you miss like
the
at
thing
point blank range? You missed again.
Look. The things, I mean, the deer got up and started like running away from us, and I didn't know what to do, so I shot it.
Oh my god.
Now it's just a bad situation. Well,
Oh,
finally
man.
he drops, and he
Yeah.
he dies, and we go up on him and stuff. But by this time, I mean, the sun's down.
Yeah.
It's
getting dark.
It's getting dark, and we're like, crap, we got to get this deer out of here. We got to go clean this and everything else under the sun. So, Dad, literally, like, we drove through our field and go and load this deer up in, on the back of our Suburban. And
Oh, I bet Mom was happy about that.
we didn't have to put him in the back of the Suburban
Uh-huh.
because we had one of those cargo carriers for the back.
Oh, gotcha.
So we put him on the back there, covered him with a tarp, called it good. I didn't have my truck or anything
Mm-hmm.
at the time of his freshman year. So we go back in Wichita, and we're like, dude, we gotta clean this thing. Well, we call up Scott. Well, when we called Scott was literally heading into this Christmas concert.
Mm-hmm.
Like this holiday Christmas concert. And he was like, just get the deer home and then like call me afterwards, and I'll bring a change of clothes and we'll clean. We got to clean him tonight. We're like, all right, sounds good. So we go pick up Scott from this Christmas concert, 9 o'clock or something like that, and go and hang the deer in our garage and gut the deer and clean the deer that night. And man, that was just a long process, because it was like Scott was trying to teach us how to do it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, we were both tired. Like I was like, let's just go here. Like, let's get this done. I got school tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
And so that was my first deer experience and my only deer experience right now, because I have not gone deer hunting since.
Yeah, I got lucky when I got mine. Well, Kendall and Keaton's dad had to go to work later in the day, so it was kind of like, okay, we didn't have all day to teach me how to skin it like top to bottom. So I still like helped a lot, but Keaton was kind of like, "Do you mind if I kind of get in here?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm not trying to hold you up." And so he did a lot of it, but he would grab parts and be like, cut there. And so he taught me a little bit, but my deer also pissed all over him. That was awesome. Did we tell you about that?
No.
Dude, he must have hit the bladder or something. I don't know. And he's standing perfectly over this thing. I'm off to one side. Kendall's...
Did you field dress him?
Yeah. Oh, dude, we were not about to drag him up the hill. Like,
oh gosh.
Out of all the guys that got deers that weekend, I easily probably had the worst retrieve because we had to drag it over, get it under this barbed wire fence, and we had to hike it up this like pretty damn steep hill. Whereas
because this was at the land that they hunt in.
This was up in Manhattan with the guys, and so so we were. I was like, are we cleaning it here or back at the truck? And they were like, do you want to drag that extra like 100 pounds up this hill? I'm like, you're right. We should clean it right here, and so we're going for it. And I'm like standing to the right of Keaton. I think our other buddy, the other Austin, was standing on the left, or maybe it was their dad. Kendall was out of the line of fire, but Keaton hit something. Either it was a bladder or kidneys, or I don't know what it was, but it was loaded. And I mean full.
Oh. God.
And just hosed him. And it like splattered so hard, it bounced off of him and got like us off to the sides. And we could not stop laughing, man. Even Keaton was like, that was funny, man. But it was pretty nasty, but it was good.
The glories of deer hunting.
Yeah. Oh, it was
and see, that's
it was the
thing,
best bath ever.
Don't get me wrong. I love deer hunting. Like, deer are delicious if they're done right. Them, and I mean, deer hunting is vital in Kansas because of the amount of deer that we have. You know, is vital. Deer hunting is vital all around the United States because of the amount of deer hunting we have, or deer we have. But it's just, that's one of the things that I think one of the reasons why I haven't gone deer hunting since then is just because, like, it's a process.
It's work, man.
It's such a process. And, like, if you don't shoot your deer clean, one, you could have contaminated meat. You could have a lost deer in general. You know, you could be looking for a deer for the next day, which if you don't find it, the coyotes did.
Yeah.
You know. And then you got to clean it. You got to do all this stuff with it. And I'm a firm believer that, you know, you want to use as much as you can out of that deer and stuff. And that's super hard for me to find the time to do that because you got to be, you know, the twins are lucky because they drive, you know, 15, 30 minutes to their land and they're there and they can be in a deer stand, where my land is an hour 15 away, and, you know, I'm not looking to dress a deer out there. I'd bring it back home and, you know, be a fiasco, but
it's definitely a pain, but I notice out of all the different hunting I've done, like primarily I've mostly done bird hunting, and then I've gotten to finally get my first deer. And I mean, bird hunting's fun, and like it can still be a pain to clean them, but I just appreciate like what I took away so much more from a deer than I do from a bird.
Yeah.
Because I could go in and clean a duck in less than 10 minutes, right? A deer, you gotta roll up your sleeves. You're about to get to work, right? Obviously, some guys are just so good they can do that less than 10 minutes. But maybe one day I'll be to that point. But no, I definitely, the amount of work I had to do just to retrieve the deer instantly like is making that thing taste so much better than like if I go get a duck. Okay, walk out, boom, got my duck, stick it in your bag or stick it in your vest, whatever. All right, that process is done. Now let's go clean it. Okay, that takes maybe 10 minutes for a couple ducks or whatever. So yeah, I definitely, that time is tough, but it makes you really appreciate it a lot more. So
for sure.
So that's I don't think I've ever heard that story from you, to be honest. Like,
it all happened like before we were all hunting together. You know, it was just kind of like a, you know.
And I'm sure you told me you got a deer at one. Like, I'm sure you had told me a little bit of the story because obviously we've been buddies since we were like 7 or 8 or something like that. But yeah, I don't know if you've ever told. Yeah, dude, way back when. I don't know if you ever had told me that full story. So yeah, that's pretty cool though. I love that it's like, oh no, it ran away, run.
Yeah.
And then you run up and it's like,
well, my dad,
it's right here.
Yeah, my dad was like, we need to go after those deer, and I was like, nah, man, like we ain't ever gonna find it if we don't find a blood trail. So.
Yeah,
that's just one of the things about deer hunting is you got to think about it because those deer, I mean, and, you know, knowing what I know now, yeah, I probably should have waited a little bit longer and let, you know, even if I searched for it in the dark, you know, probably would have been a better situation for everything. But, you know, first deer, you don't know what you're doing. Nobody's really ever told us how to do it.
Yeah.
There's not a book on how to do it, so.
No, I mean, yeah, like you said, that's something I notice people deal with all the time is hunting, but they're having to learn it all themselves. Like you and your dad in that situation, what do we do now, you know?
Yeah.
I've been blessed that like my entire hunting career has been with you guys. Like Kendall and Keaton introduced me and then I've been with you, so
everything that we know, you know.
Exactly. I mean, so I didn't really have to start from scratch like a lot of kids. Like when they were like, dude, let's do hunting. I was like, what do I do here? Or like for now. They literally said it. They went through the lineup. They're like, all right, you need to go get your hunter safety. You need to go do this. All right, once you do that, we're going to do this. And they just walked me through the whole process. And I like that I see a lot of programs out there that are pushing that more. And I was talking to Keaton earlier and he was telling me that that's what he really wants to do is not even just education, but like he wants to be somebody that goes out and helps introduce people to hunting or teach them how to do it and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't know. So
it's quite frankly, it's literally a dying sport, you know, and
no pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. But I mean, that's the thing is and why I think that what we're doing is so beneficial because of the fact we're a new age of kids and hunters that, you know, we do it right. We enjoy our time outside. We're not disrespecting the outdoors by any means. And, you know, we love conservation more than anybody else does because we want, like, this is a huge thing for us.
If we don't conserve it, we won't have it anymore. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, do you have any other fun little stories? I mean, that was pretty hard to follow up.
Yeah, that's pretty much my top one. But there are countless stories of all of us together of hunting that's gone wrong, gone bad, gone good.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we will talk about those in other podcasts.
Oh, we are going to have some more episodes, and that's going to be one of the biggest things is talking about some of those other stories. Preferably, like, some of those stories is, like, when we can bring a couple of the guys together so we can get different sides of the story. It's not just one of us saying, I remember it this way, and then the other one's like, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I get it.
Well, coolio, buddy. Thank you for joining us on this episode, and we'll talk to you at the next one, okay?
Thank you.
All right.